Welcome to the den, the Dingus Den.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dingus Den for the next episode of the Comic Club here, where I'm joined by my co-host Chris as usual, and this time joined by a special guest Blue.
Yo.
Anyway, in this episode, we're going to be covering all 6 issues of Green Lantern Rebirth, which is written by Jeff Johns, artwork done by a variety of people, pencils done by Ethan Van Sciver. He also worked on a bit of the inks as well as a few other people. Marlo Alquiza, probably butchered that name, I apologize. Prentice Rollins and Mick Gray. And then all the colorings were done by Moose Bauman. But yeah, so essentially this is a story, or is the story that kicked off Jeff Johns' Green Lantern run, which went on all the way up until the New 52, where he did the first few story arcs there and then ended. And so, yeah.
Did he?
He did, yes. Up until the third arc of New 52, which was...
Oh, that's... Yeah, I remember him...
Rise of the Third Army or something like that. Something like that.
Rise of the Third Army is bad. That's just a fact. But yeah, no, okay, I remember.
Anyway, we're not here discussing his last Green Lantern arc. We are here to discuss Green Lantern Rebirth, what started this all. Maybe we'll get there someday. I'd like to, honestly, someday, but we'll see. Anyway.
One day.
One day. Anyway, so, Green Lantern Rebirth. What was your all's just overall reaction to this story? Overall thoughts before we get into the nitty-gritty of it all? Blue, we can start with you.
It's a classic Green Lantern story. It's one of those ones that if you're talking about Green Lantern, there's a good chance you're talking about this specific time period in Green Lantern's history. This kicked off. I mean, this itself is a massive undertaking, because
Absolutely.
This was Hal Jordan's return after the oopsie daisy he did as Parallax. But then even after that, it leads into Sinestro Corps War, past that World of Light, and even past that, it leads into Blackest Night, which is personally my favorite of all the Green Lantern stories, but that's not what we're talking about.
I mean,
this is
Jeff Johns' Green Lantern is just like, to be the prime Green Lantern, right? Like when I think Green Lantern, it's it's whatever Jeff Johns has done, and like how he expanded the Green Lantern mythos was just great, and all this was essentially the foundation to it. Because in order to do that, it's like, okay, you need back Hal Jordan because he is the main Green Lantern. I'm not saying he's everybody's favorite, but at the end of the day, he is the main Green Lantern out there. And so, having this story of bringing him back was just great. And, we'll be getting into all the nitty-gritty of it, but it was a great story with having Hal Jordan just come back. It's very good.
No, I agree. I think if you're thinking of Green Lantern, you're either thinking Hal Jordan or John Stewart because of the old animated show. But, I mean, Hal Jordan, he was the first. He is the Green Lantern. Like there's
Absolutely.
Not really any argument there.
Definitely. Chris, what'd you think?
I mean, it was a great story. Lots of characters showing up, which makes for an enjoyable experience. Great art. A lot of good areas of deep explanation, so you didn't get lost.
For sure.
So that you knew what was going on. The traditional old. It felt like a lot of the bad guy reveals his plot, kind of thing. It all does it. They did it so well.
Yeah. We'll get into that later, but like essentially all that stuff is like they really expanded on all those plot points in this story. But we'll be getting to all that in a bit. But yeah. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and start with going into not the first issue, but there's this little like 6-page story that was in Green Lantern's Secret Files, which served as a prelude to this.
Prequel.
If you read prequel, if you read this in the trade, this is actually already covered in the trade, and you may not realize that's actually not part of the first issue. Like me last night when I actually read through it. Anyway, so if you read through this in the trade, you may already have you may know what I'm talking about here. But anyway, it's titled "The Day Before."
Is that what that is?
Yes, those 6 pages is from that. Yes, that's not part of issue 1. That is like the official prologue to it. Yeah, I know, right? I read this and it felt like it was just like a little like I don't know what the word to use is, but
I mean, obviously it's a prelude, but
yeah,
it felt very out of place for me. Like, what?
Yeah.
Okay, what is this?
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, set up the story, but
yeah, for sure. But yeah, as far as that goes, it just begins where you see this intro with Kyle, where he's out in space, and he finds the warning of Parallax is coming, and so that's what kickstarts where you see him at the beginning of the first issue. But anyway, then cuts to where you then see Hal Jordan, where he's at this like similar sort of like airfield. I got the very similar vibes from his like origin of wherever you think like him at the airfield. It seemed like a modern day recreation of that, essentially.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he's he's wanting to save this plane from crashing, but then you see that he's like bonded with the Spectre, and that's where like while he does it and complies with what Hal wanted to, he's just like, okay, this isn't how I do things. So then they have like this whole conversation of like, oh, this isn't, Hal's like, this isn't how you should do things, and so yeah. And then what were you about to say?
I was gonna say this was actually, so I read Blackest Night a lot of before this as a kid, but I actually didn't know that Hal Jordan was ever the Spectre until I read this, which obviously not like now, like I know now reading it, but it was just so weird finding out how that happened, him going from Parallax to Spectre. I thought that's actually one of my favorite parts of this whole storyline.
Yeah, it's interesting, and here you get the whole thing right off the bat, the whole introduction of, okay, Hal Jordan is stuck, his spirit is stuck in the Spectre, and then you see just after in the conversation, after he was, heavily disagreeing with the Spectre, you then see Parallax starting to say, no, you're us, Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Parallax. And then that's when Spectre then like closes that's when Spectre then closes them all up, and he's like, okay, this is why I'm here, is to make sure neither of you all get out, since they're conjoined.
What's Hal Jordan gonna do? He's just a silly guy. He's not a threat to anyone.
Well, you have to keep in mind that, what happened to Green Lantern before this was, Parallax and Hal Jordan are one being now, and that made Hal Jordan go on to this big, crazy run,
murder
essentially.
Rampage.
Murder rampage, exactly.
You can say it. He killed a guy. he killed at least one guy.
Yeah.
He killed a guy, and he liked it.
I don't think he did. I think that's like the whole point of him being the Spectre, is that he wasn't a fan.
Well, yeah, the spirit of vengeance made him do it. It sounds very, like a Marvel comic we know about.
Yeah, Ant-Man.
Anyway,
I really enjoyed the silence after that.
Anyway, those were, it was a nice little introduction, but yeah, it definitely felt a little bit out of place for sure. Although for me, whenever I read it, I didn't even realize it was something on its own until I realized that, like, wait, no, this is a chapter break immediately following this. What's this? So I looked into it more. That's where I found out. Because
Didn't
that's
quite
what threw
click.
me off was he got chapter break. I was like, wait, what? And then
Yeah,
it
no,
starts with
that's-
the intro of the next issue. It's like, oh, okay.
I thought that it was just like I had no idea. Like, you know, they packaged it the same, but here they're like redoing the style kind of, because they do that in comic books. I just
Every now and then, yeah, sure, absolutely.
Mhm.
Especially if they're trying to get something out.
or in trades at least. In trades, they'll like change the not the comic, but how the comic is presented.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Depends how big of a
Continue.
run and stuff is, but that's a whole other topic.
No, yeah,
but
definitely.
anyway, after the little prelude, we'll just get right into issue 1. Now there's
Alright.
so much stuff on each of these issues, but if there's any details that you think I forgot that is important, feel free to interrupt me. But there's a lot, so I just try to get the overall view.
Yep.
So anyway, issue 1, it begins with Kyle. Kyle Rayner is on his ship as he's crashing down into New Mexico. And then we see, we briefly get a glimpse of Carol, which Carol Ferris, Hal
Mhm.
Jordan's previous crush.
On
You
again,
know.
off again, all that bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we see sort of this moment of just her like missing Hal Jordan, and then we then see this conversation between Jon Stewart and Guy Gardner at this baseball game, of where they then start having their whole own conversation. Guy's glad that he doesn't have this lantern ring anymore, but John still very much values it and believes that Hal is still a good person out there somewhere, or that he was still always a good person. But
Yeah.
but anyway, then the ghost of Hal Jordan then visits them, but then has to leave because of people, like the whole Spectre aspect of people coming up to him and saying, "Oh no,
Yeah.
I did all these bad things. I'm a sinner because of this." So he just had to leave. But after that, we then see Black Hand break into Green Arrow's home, trying to get this Green Lantern ring that Green Arrow has for whatever reason. But
Yeah.
but then all of a sudden, the ghost of Hal Jordan enters, and then turns into a Spectre, and then that's when he delivers his version of vengeance to the Black Hand by removing his hand.
Which awesome
Burning
moment.
it in
Like
the coal.
Yes, it was.
I-
It was very cool.
I genuinely love that moment.
Yeah,
from,
no, it's really cool.
like seeing it as a flashback in Blackest Night, because again,
Mhm.
that's my frame of reference here.
yeah,
So like seeing it here was like, holy shit, this is where it happens. This
yeah,
is the
that's where it
beginning of the
happened.
end.
It's a very cool moment. It's a really cool way. For me, I thought it was an
How-
awesome way to distinguish the way Spectre would do things as opposed to
Yeah, the way
Green Lantern
Spectre
himself.
operates from how Hal operates. It's
how
very different.
exactly, for sure.
Which, yeah.
For sure. But then we then go to a scene after with Guy Gardner then exploding and makes part of Coast City
Mhm.
suddenly reappear.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the Justice League and parts of the JSA comes to the scene. Batman's suspicious of how
As
this
usual.
can do with Hal Jordan because, Batman's never really liked Hal Jordan, and that's going to become really prevalent later on. Well, actually, right after this, Batman and Jon Stewart has a big argument. So never mind, that pretty much comes up right now.
Hey, look at that.
Where, Batman and Jon Stewart have this big conversation. John's like, "Oh yeah, he always believed in Hal," but Batman's never liked Hal Jordan because Hal Jordan, the core to why Batman never liked him is because Hal seen through Batman's main weapon, which is fear.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
And so...
Which feels so petty. Like, he doesn't do the exact same thing as me. Like, okay, calm down.
Well, fear is the enemy of the Green Lantern Corps.
It
Yeah,
is.
I just
He's able to defeat it
So-
quite easily.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah.
There's that.
But then, and after that whole argument, then it ends with Hal Jordan's ghost visiting Carol. And that's the cliffhanger. So, what did you all think of this first issue? Lots of stuff that I covered here to cover the bases. That's for sure. A lot of these cover a lot, but this laid a lot of groundwork. What did you all think of it?
I mean, really, for what it's meant to do, which is, set up the rest of it, because, it's an issue 1 of Hal Jordan's big return. It does it extremely well, It shows, it updates us on what Carol's doing, what Kyle is doing, Guy and John, everyone else. I mean, it's kind of a where are they now as we go into, or last time on Green Lantern, before we get into, oh shit, Green Lantern is bad.
Yeah, it establishes that this story has so many characters in play. Like, it's a whole cast of characters, and I'd say overall they were able to really handle it all pretty well together, with handling so much with only 6 issues. But
definitely. But I mean, it's Jeff Johns too.
He's overall
a professional.
Really good, but there's a lot of points that they covered that I felt like each of them had a good establishing point for the story going forward.
So many characters, like you said, that to me was what stood out. It didn't make it hard to follow, but what it made it do, definitely had to concentrate a lot more to see who is talking to who about what
is doing what. Yeah, absolutely.
And then what that did is help you in the future issues of the run.
Absolutely. This laid down so much groundwork to where you appreciate all the things that they do here and later on, because it just does so much.
Yeah, like, is that the Thinker that they throw in there?
Oh yes, I didn't cover that because it's just there randomly.
It's
but
like randomly
right there.
The Thinker's there just narrating.
Yeah, he's just there. The what's his name here?
Oh,
Hector Hammond. Hector Hammond. That's his name.
I don't think, is he the Thinker?
No, that's not the Thinker though.
Thinker. Yeah. I don't remember his name, but Hector Hammond. Hammond.
Hammond. He's a big one. He's a big name.
It's one of the 2 pages he's on. Where he's sensing, I believe again he's sensing like, oh, Parallax is coming. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, Hector Hammond.
Peter he was the main villain of the actual movie.
He was. Yeah. Where they also tried to do Parallax, but he was a fart cloud.
Yes.
I assure you, he's not a fart cloud in this movie, or not this movie, not this comic.
I don't like that it's the fart cloud joke that reminded me that there was a movie. I try to block it out.
We'll just move on to better things, right? Is there anything else you all want to bring up with this first issue? I mean, I just feel like, I covered all the story points here. It's just great foundation for what's to come later on.
And then again, knowing what's to come, having Black Hand end up with a Black Hand is just like, oh shit. You guys are fucked.
Blackest Night. We'll get to it at some point.
That's a good one.
We'll try. Anyway, issue 2, we'll go right into it. It begins with a couple people who then found Kyle on the wreckage of his ship, but then the Ring is starting to warn them that Parallax is coming.
Yes.
And then we see the ghost of Hal and Carol reminisce over how they met.
But no, how they really met.
How they really met, that's right.
Yeah,
on that fateful day.
That fateful day. But because they were talking about the first date.
Yeah.
On the first week on the job is what
he
was talking about. That he was like, no.
Yeah.
The first time.
When my dad died. My dad.
Yeah. And then she talks about how she's like moved on from him, and it just really helps set up like where she is in this overall grand scheme of the story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Then after that, you start to hear Hal's talk about like, well, okay, and now I want to come back to who I was, and then you then see the Hal, like this ghost of Hal, spirit of Hal, interchange it, but it's all essentially the same thing. Where he then goes to visit the Justice League and at the back in the town where they were all like looking at their Coast City that just appeared. That's what I was thinking of. Anyway, he then appears out there, but then Jon Stewart starts going crazy and starts attacking people. Fighting off the Justice League, and surprisingly, Jon Stewart holds up very well to fight against all the Justice League and JSA and all that. But
I mean, yeah, he's a soldier.
he does a good job with it. Anyway, then the ring that Green Arrow had all of a sudden splits into two, and that new ring goes off to Guy Gardner, of which restores him since he was half blown up. But then he's restored now as a full Green Lantern. And then it cuts off to where we then see Kilowog confronting injured Kyle Rayner. We see Kilowog trying to steal a coffin that Kyle's then protecting, but then Ganthet appears, one of the Guardians.
Guardians of the Universe.
But yeah, Ganthet appears and says, "The body of Hal Jordan is under the Guardians' protection." So we have this Spectre having the spirit of Hal, and then the Guardians is protecting his body.
Yes.
So yeah, a lot more pieces are laid out here for sure. Things are definitely get going. A little bit more here, for sure. Thoughts?
I mean, the coffin reveal is crazy.
Yeah,
it was a great reveal, and I think for me, what's even bigger than the fact of Hal being in the coffin is just like, oh, Ganthet's involved in this now. Okay.
Well, yeah, when the Guardians start showing up, it's serious.
Oh, it's good when the Guardians show up. I mean, they're awesome, and they're very interesting beings. So anytime, whenever they're just, I mean, there's just a whole part that I've always loved about the Green Lantern mythos in general, is just how the Guardians are just involved in general.
Yeah, I agree.
And so it was great to see that, and then also just having Kilowog back, because it's Kilowog.
Yeah, Kilowog. Everyone loves Kilowog.
Right. And then just the conversations that I didn't really cover this in the synopsis, but like how the team was just talking about their views on the whole situation of how Hal could be back. It's interesting to see how not everybody's like, oh yeah, we could go save him potentially, right? Because since he's labeled as like this murderer, right? Because the last that they saw of him was him being, under control from Parallax, but they don't quite realize that yet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the whole Black Hand thing, right?
No, we're talking about him being under control of Parallax with the previous comics before this of like what they set up.
Gotcha.
Talking about. But yeah, there's just lots of great stuff here.
Yeah.
With how they did all this stuff. Just the whole action scene with Jon Stewart was amazing.
Oh, absolutely. Any action scene involving, a lantern is a good one, in my opinion.
For sure. And all the action scenes of this I just love too, and they're just such a great like page turners that like all this was too. Like it's a very quick read and just such a good read at the same time with all these parts.
Absolutely.
I like that they didn't overdo it with the fights though either. They kept them simple. Despite
you have to
what they could have gone with them with the powers that are involved.
Well, they're building up to bigger and better things.
For sure.
War of Light, Sinestro Core War. You gotta.
They do a lot.
Whet the appetite for what's to come.
Let's stick to this run.
I mean, yeah.
That's what I mean. I'm sticking to what I know of this run because unlike you, I haven't read all those and don't know about all those, so I'm just saying it based on this run. So
yeah, but still, you gotta rein
it in a little bit. Go more micro instead of so macro on this, where we're covering this run.
Yes. But as far as just these first two issues go, there are lots of great setup for what's to begin. But then once you get into this third issue, that's when things like really pick up. I feel like.
Yes.
So without further ado, unless you all have anything else to add with issue 2, we'll get right to
Nope.
3.
No, go ahead.
No, all right, cool.
That's
So it immediately begins with Ganthet and Kilowog having this big fight. And then Kyle starts seeing visions of Jon Stewart attacking the Justice League. And then we get to see the Spirit of Hell go into the old apartment that he lived in. And then he found this lantern battery, and he's like, wait, how did all this get here? And then Parallax then speaks to him, saying that, well, we brought it back together. And then,
Yeah.
so yeah, then Ganthet sends Kyle away to warn the Justice League about how Parallax is then affecting the Green Lanterns. There's then a scene of Hal Jordan's spirit attempting to escape from Parallax. However, fails as the Spectre decides that, they can't be out yet.
Yeah.
We then see Kyle telling Green Lantern, or no, Kyle's telling Green Arrow about the history of him finding out how Parallax is coming back. And so this is like the whole flashback moment where everything comes together. It covers a lot here in this whole flashback moment, but essentially tells that story of how we were referencing just a little bit ago of where, how Jordan got possessed by Parallax, and that's how he did all these bad. That's why he went essentially crazy and he's bad. But now we know, okay, well, if they can essentially remove Parallax, then he could be good if they can figure out a way to bring it back. But
Yeah.
it just reveals this whole story of, okay, this is what really happened with him. Hal Jordan just broke bad and killed Sinestro in it too. Or at least that's,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But,
Allegedly
killed Sinestro.
Yeah.
He snapped his neck and he's allegedly dead.
Supposedly
Dead.
We'd like to believe.
We're supposed to believe.
But anyway, we then cut back to I kind of already covered this, but it was Parallax winning over Hal Jordan's spirit. So, because actually, no, at this point is when Parallax actually won over. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So Parallax then won, trying to take over Hal Jordan's spirit. So Parallax is now back. And then there is...
He looks crazy the way they did that.
Yes, he does. You just see right here, it looks absolutely
rips
crazy.
off his skin.
Oh, yes. Very fearsome looking. I love it, too.
Like
It's such a great shot.
It reminds
Let me
me
open that up.
like Baraka from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's great. Parallax is it just looks so menacing, too. And that's not the only cliffhanger for this issue, too. It then goes off to showing a thought to be dead Sinestro, then starts attacking Kyle and Green Arrow. And that's how it ends. There's two big bads back.
Yeah, that was
very, very bad for the rest of us.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. All of a sudden, yellow arrows start hitting Green Arrow, and you're like, wait, what the hell?
Yes. Like, what in the world?
Jumping Jehoshaphat.
I'm not the one that should be getting hit with the arrows.
Yeah.
I thought the arrows was actually a very, very clever thing for Sinestro to do because I mean that's not his rival. Sinestro doesn't know Green Arrow, but he saw someone with a theme and he was like, okay, I gotta stick with it. And I respect that of him.
Right. Yeah,
This is just another good issue.
I mean, it just immediately picks up right away with that whole fight between Ganthet and Kilowog, and it's not long because Kilowog's fighting a Guardian, but
and telling the whole backstory and everything was good.
The whole backstory.
It's an important issue to say the least.
Very
going back, and Hal Jordan's just moment of back in his old apartment is great as well. Something this story does great is just covering the whole inner whole feud between the spirits of Hal Jordan and Parallax is great, because you really see Hal Jordan really trying to fight and come back, but he just can't because of Parallax and Spectre, because Spectre's job is to make sure that he doesn't get out, because that would be Parallax gets out, which is what they don't want, because Parallax is a huge bad.
Absolutely. The embodiment of fear.
Yes.
You know.
And it's always great to where anytime you have Hal come out and say some stuff, then Parallax is there. He's like, no, you can't do any of that because it's me here controlling you or making you not being able to do anything.
Yeah.
I thought it hilarious that they used hair turning gray.
Yeah.
It's like
I wholeheartedly agree that was
like
a little silly to say the least.
Little bit of a stretch, yeah. Like, oh my god,
Like, sure, Jeff Johns, we totally believe that is why.
yeah.
I mean, that's just how he was always drawn, though, in the comics in that time, you know? Like, that's just how they embraced it. Like, it was a whole comic look for so long, and I really like that the way of how they take that mythos and turn it back around. I thought that was an aspect that I really liked overall with how they took that aspect of his hair turning white, and then it's like, no, okay.
Yeah, but
that was...
I get... Look, they're trying to say that fear is overtaking him, and so that's why his hair is turning white.
Yeah, and I really like that.
Yeah.
It just... It feels silly.
It does. Yeah, it felt a little silly. Something else, I think, physically I could say.
Well, it's the whole way of how it makes everything tie into the old mythos and then make it into the new mythos going forward. And that's the whole thing, and I thought with, you know, regardless of if you know, like the white hair or not, you know, it's a great way to tie in everything together, though. And it was a great way to symbolize, especially what we'll see later on, but it's a great way to symbolize when he's good or not.
Yeah. I mean, aesthetically, it doesn't look too bad. I actually
no, I agree with that.
Like the design of it.
Yes.
But the fact that they just went, oh, it's because it was fear. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. When
I guess
gray hair traditionally in any medium is not, you don't use that. Like, give him a goatee. You know what I mean?
No,
that's the traditional.
Give him the evil.
Give
him the evil twisty
I do not
mustache.
want Green Lantern with a goatee. No,
come on.
You know you're
why?
against this idea.
Sinestro has a goatee.
I said Green Lantern,
Sinestro,
not
though.
Sinestro.
I know, but wouldn't
Hal
it then
Jordan.
kind of?
Let me be more specific here. I do not want Al Jordan with a goatee.
Why is that? Why is
Come
that?
on.
Because he looks stupid. He looks stupid with a goatee.
And
Woody.
okay, but it would make more sense.
No, because the whole thing is people thought that it was like natural, and that's how he was able to like go through and.
That's
screw up
not
everything.
natural. Your hair just getting gray like that is not natural,
It blends
Spencer.
in more.
Well, you also have to consider
natural.
their line of work.
That's not natural.
You have to consider that these are people that fight clowns and Cheeto women and Lex Luthor on a daily basis. I wouldn't exactly imagine that they're too worried about what naturally makes sense.
No, not them, but we are. So
Oh, I
authors. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
They get to the comic book, sure, but I'm saying traditionally, you don't use gray to make someone look evil. Use it, make them look distinguished.
It's all tied back to previous stuff that they've done at Green Lantern.
Oh, I understand
I'm not completely
that.
sure of, you know, the execution of it all, but from what I know of how they set it up, of what I know of the business, even though I haven't specifically read that, even though I'd really like to, I just find it a nice, really cool way of how they've made it all turn about.
Yeah.
And click all together. Because
It's just a little
the thing, though,
silly.
is it's not like the whole time where he had white hair, like he was just bad, right? Because it was
just
an over
kind of
time
a
thing too.
symptom.
Because there was an era where he was good and did all this stuff, and it was
Yeah.
a slow,
Like a symptom.
takeover. Yeah.
But again, that's what they used as the streaks of white hair were the first sign. Like,
I mean,
it wasn't a build-up. The hair just happened, and it was the first sign. So if it was a build-up and they were going to use it like that, they didn't write it well.
It's all tied into the
that.
previous mythos. It's just recapping the previous mythos. That's all it's doing.
I understand. That's not what I'm saying, Spencer.
Let's move on. Can I say let's move on?
The previous mythos then is silly and doesn't.
Well,
make
what I'm saying
a
is
lot
it's
of
just a
sense then
brief.
as well.
We don't know the full implications behind all of that, though. Is my point. Is we haven't read that story to where when we first see him get it, so we don't know the full just story behind it to really fully, I think, comment on that aspect. Because their job here is to just provide a quick summary, give you what you need. They're not here to tell you every single bit of all those stories. If you want to read all those stories, then we could go read those stories.
About why Hal Jordan has gray hair. Great.
Yes.
That's
Exactly.
the story I want to read. That's my point. Is it doesn't make like I don't care about the gray hair as well. That's part of it. Like this is I think a little part of it too is I could have done without the gray hair part of it. Like it's them using and maybe there's more to it. More to the gray hair in the other run. But then I would have been like, if I had to go read that other run and have to read a whole
I think what he's trying to get at
whole issue of why of his hair turns gray. Like that to me, it's like
it feels like a cheap excuse, kind of.
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to get at?
Exactly.
I get what you're trying to
big
say,
stretch excuse.
but it's also a comic book.
Yes, and that's exactly it too. Absolutely. Again,
you're nitpicking a kid's comic
no.
book,
What I'm
man.
saying is they, with the quality of the rest of the work, they could have done something better.
Okay.
What? I don't know because I'm not the writer.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there was no misconception about that, but we know that, but no,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I
name is
do
not Jeff
understand
Johns.
the nitpick. You're I just it's a comic book where I if you're gonna get hung up on technicalities, Batman should be in prison and Clark Kent shouldn't have been, able to get away with what he did for so long.
That's
You're just kind of
that's not nit. That's a completely different kind of
delete this
nitpicking.
info.
We get it. Chris just doesn't like gray hair, right?
No, it has
He just-
nothing to do with that.
Okay. He doesn't like old
No,
people.
it's
That's
the-
the problem.
That's what I'm going with. Anyway,
It's the vehicle in which they used the gray hair. That's the problem. Jesus Christ. Kids these days.
No, I don't think he's in this one.
Kids these days.
Anyway,
Hey.
regardless, Parallax is back. It's awesome, as we were talking about with his skin
And
all
apparently
ripped
he
off here.
causes gray hair.
You're
Well,
gonna
that's just all
cause
look
me
here.
gray
Look
hairs.
at that. Like it's Parallax. He's evil. He looks awesome.
He does look pretty good. I will.
Oh no. Yeah,
Parallax.
the end product, yeah. He looks great, but not because of the gray hair.
In spite of the gray hair, he looks cool.
Yes.
Let's say that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
And
what
then
makes him
move on.
Parallax, though. It's the hair. Okay, anyway, we're gonna move
I know, Spencer. I know.
we're gonna move on from this. Anyway,
Don't let him get to you.
And now I'm getting him to be like sarcastic about the hair because you're right. It's like because he knows I'm right. He's like, wait, why are they giving him?
I legitimately like the
Yeah.
hair though, with it all. Like
Uh-huh,
I legitimately don't
let me
have an
guess,
issue
does
with it at all, and it's a whole part of the Green Lantern mythos
I have
that
to
I've
ask
embraced
you,
for years
does
and
it-
I've always
Does
liked.
it pull the costume together?
It does.
It
You
does.
know what?
It does.
It
Do you not
really
see the
brings
white
the
lines
looks
all around the
together.
costume, and it just blends in right there with the hair? Look at it.
You know what? Parallax did not spend an hour on his hair so that you could make fun of him. He's out there with box dye trying his best.
hair so stylish too? Like what the fuck?
Because he wants to look his best, man.
Exactly, man. What's
He's
wrong
got
with
his
that?
Sunday.
What's your beef with Parallax's hair care routine, man?
It's my beef with with the laziness of the story of the hair. That's my beef.
All right.
Anyway, so Parallax is back. He's got a hair care routine.
He looks like Baraka with
He
hair.
looks like Barat, which is actually I
With
never
hair.
noticed that until you said that, but that's awesome. Baraka.
Yeah, sure. And
And
then
we're
right
all
after
in-
we see Sinestro come back. What about that though?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
He's
pretty
got
cool
hair
back.
too.
Yeah,
He's all.
yeah, but it's not white hair, so you don't hate it.
Yeah.
He
It's-
likes
it's-
this hair
It's
'cause
his, it's his, well, but I don't understand it. He's evil. Where's his white hair? And he's being
No,
influenced by
because-
Parallax. Where's his white hair?
Is he? Is he though?
What is that hand? You're telling me that's not Parallax's hand?
You mean the hand on the bow
Yeah.
of the
I
Contra
think that's just a skeleton.
created by his ring?
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yes.
Go look at. Are you sure? Go take
Yeah,
a
I'm
look.
sure.
What
I think
You're
Parallax
looking a
looks
little bit
like.
too much into it there.
Uh-huh.
I think now you're just
Uh-huh.
Now
I
you're
think
just
now
looking
you're
for
looking
ways
a
to
little too
nitpick
much.
Parallax.
Mm,
Now you're just looking for things to
no,
nitpick.
see, continuity with the hair. God damn it.
Yeah, so
Well,
he
you
has no
calm
white hair,
down
so he
about
isn't
the
under
hair.
control by Parallax. God damn it!
Exactly.
No,
Come
no.
on. Follow your own rules, man.
But
What do you think about Parallax?
how did he come back to life if not for Parallax? So
We're not.
Uber.
Oh, here, we'll cover that. You want to go ahead and
I
cover
know,
that?
I know.
Here, we'll go ahead and cover that here, right?
Let's go cover that.
We'll cover that right
He
now.
felt like it.
We'll go
Let's do
right
it.
into the next issue here then.
Yes,
Oh, really? Is that what we're here for?
good segue. Look at that
Oh,
segue. You like that segue?
Anyway.
Oh,
Not as
man.
much as I hate his, Parallax's hair care routine.
He called hair club for men.
Absolutely.
He's not just
He wants to look fabulous.
he's just
you
not
let
a
him-
spokesperson. He's a member too.
Do you think he has a promo code I could borrow?
Possibly, man. Possibly.
Use code Parallax at checkout for 90% off your order.
Wow.
I
Spencer may
use
have a
that
lot of
code.
editing to do.
No, you got to keep all of this
No,
in
this
there.
is all in there.
Oh,
this is all in
staying
there.
in. Oh, I understand. I know.
Now, what this
You
could
just-
be is potential shorts content later.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll
Oh man.
issue 4.
Continuing.
Issue 4.
We'll burn that
It
bridge
begins
when it
with
happens.
Kyle and Green Arrow. They start having their big showdown against Sinestro. And then this newly born Parallax then confronts Ganthet. Ganthet is able to cleanse all the Green Lanterns around him, which is Kilowog, Guy Gardner, John Stewart, from the evil that was touching them from Parallax. And
touching the
That doesn't sound
not
okay.
literally touch. Okay, guys, listen, don't go there.
I'm just saying, man.
Look, they were
Anyway.
all under the control of Parallax. Where was their gray hair?
I swear, Jesus Christ.
No, he has a point, actually.
I have a good point there.
He does actually make a point. As much as it hurts me to admit it, he does have a point there, man.
They didn't have, the hairs didn't have enough time to grow out, okay?
Do you think they
The hairs
forgot to
happened
use
overnight
code-
with Hal Jordan, alright? They didn't happen just miraculously, alright? They didn't have enough
They
time to
didn't
grow
use
out
code
here.
Parallax at checkout.
Right, that's the problem. They didn't use code Parallax. There you go.
For 90% off.
I gotta say, that's a deal, man. I'm using the Parallax promo code. I don't care if he kills me at the end. That's 90% off, and then I get to look as fabulous as him. You guys just aren't thinking this through, man.
Oh man.
I guess I'm not. Anyway.
Definitely.
I'm not either.
The Justice
So what
League
happens in
and-
the next issue?
Anyway, Justice League and parts of the JSA then come together.
Right
and
now.
all come together to start fighting against
Over me.
Parallax. And then
And
cuts
his
back to
gray hair
Kyle's
club.
and Green Lantern's fight against Sinestro. We see this really cool moment of Green Arrow actually being able to use the ring
Yeah,
to
it was-
fire a single
Oh, that was
arrow.
awesome.
And he's like, "Oh, this is exhausting."
Of
That's all I
Yep.
can. That's why you all
I-
have to do it every time to make a single thing. Kyle's like, "Yeah."
I
that's how it is every
actually
time.
love that line. It seems like
amazing.
such
It's
a
great.
throwaway,
No, it's
but
great.
I love the casual implication of every time they use the ring, they're outputting like
Oh, it's
Mm.
fantastic. I love it
crazy amounts of power, and I thought that was just amazing.
too.
Like,
Yeah, no. it
obviously
is really
that's
good.
not a hot take whatsoever. I'm
No.
just saying I like it.
No, it's a fantastic line. It's a great point that you brought up, and it's definitely one of those big memorable moments. Like other than just like Green Arrow using Green Lantern ring, it's
Which by
it's
itself is amazing.
Yeah, right. That alone is great, and then they give us like this is just great. The conversations between like the people, even before this, I have a cover because there's so many conversations that they've had with just so much different characterization with different people just talking with each other. It's just been fantastic. Like even though they're juggling around so many characters, they are really making all the relationships between all the characters, with the characters that they're focusing on, of course, really come together.
No, they even throw Alan Scott in there.
They do.
Oh, any comic with Alan Scott is an A+ in my book.
Absolutely.
I love Alan Scott.
I do too.
I
love how Baraka. I mean, sorry. Parallax.
Use code Parallax at checkout for
is trying to eat Alan Scott.
Yeah.
Aged.
Let's see here. What's
aged Alan Scott?
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see that they're struggling quite a lot to trying to beat Sinestro. As they're back,
Makes sense.
We then cuts back to with the Justice League, Lanterns, and Ganthet fighting off Parallax. Hal Jordan's spirit then comes in and tries to break out again.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's
panel.
a whole epic part. But this time, the Spectre
panel.
actually helps separates them. So then, like the whole spirit of Parallax actually comes out and starts attacking Ganthet.
And
But
look,
then-
he doesn't have the gray hair.
Well, it almost like it's fits there. But anyway,
Yeah.
anyway, he
gotta
then
say.
the spirits of Hal starts going away, and upon Ganthet's last words before he gets succumbed to Parallax, Ganthet sends out this trail, and he's like, follow this trail of green dots that leads Hal Jordan back to his body, to where he then reawakens with his white
gray
hair
hair.
magically removed.
Right?
And then there, all right, the white hair's gone. You happy now, bitch? Anyway,
Yeah, it must have been a limited time promotion. I'm
Didn't
really on
use
this
code
promo
Parallax.
code joke. I don't know why this is
I
so
love
funny
it.
to me.
It's
Anyway,
hilarious.
We're anyway, and then we then
Next
see
issue.
the ring that Green Arrow was using that flies off and awakens this newly reformed Green Lantern, aka Hal Jordan,
Ooh.
to where like I said, he doesn't
AKA
have
the
much-
artist formerly known as Parallax.
He doesn't have the hair anymore, and Hal Jordan's back, baby, and that's how the issue ends. Is Hal Jordan is
Ooh.
back. Hal Jordan
Another
has
just-
awoken.
This is the big one,
Right, this is
Hal
the big
Jordan
one where
is
Hal Jordan is
motherfucking
indeed
back.
And not only that, you have the
It's-
whole epic moment of the Justice League teaming up against
Yeah, that was
Parallax.
cool.
That was such an
yeah.
epic moment right there.
Anything that brings the Earth heroes and specifically the Justice League into, and then obviously he said, but later it happens more.
Mhm.
But I love it. I
it's
think
hard to
it's
do
just-
those big team up images wrong.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
Yeah, but those
unless there's gray hair.
Code Parallax at checkout.
But yeah, no, it's honestly that's always the highlight. I love splash pages so much. I mean, obviously, that's not
it's
that's
definitely
not
one
a
of my
take. That's just a fact. is that they're
absolutely.
good.
That's one of my favorite just images throughout this whole run of
Yeah.
I'd say.
They have a
whole
lot
series
of
that
really
whole
good.
team up.
There's a lot of good art.
Because this is
The
when
art-
you actually get, all the Justice League, the JSA, several Green Lanterns all teamed up together, and Ganthet all teamed up together in this whole epic fight.
Mhm.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And then I really also like the whole other fight that they were doing the whole time with Kyle and
Sinestro.
Green Arrow against Sinestro, because then you really get to see how much of a threat Sinestro is. A lot of times I feel like whenever you think Sinestro, you just think of how easily he gets beaten by Hal, because Hal knows how to fight him. But
when you don't understand your
when you
opponent's
don't
game-
understand your enemy, he's a fearsome big villain for a reason, and this
Yeah.
really highlights it. He was getting their butts kicked, and you really saw their exhaustion getting to them. They're like, okay, I don't know how much of this more we can handle against this Sinestro guy. He really knows how to use this
Absolutely.
yellow stuff,
Yeah.
Fear, and because it's fear.
The fear, right? And
Yeah,
Sinestro is such
honestly.
a fantastic villain, and they really do him so much justice. I mean, throughout this whole thing, but like his highlight is really in this issue with just his might in this, and seeing how fearsome he can really be. And he's also great in next issue, but like, I mean, he's great in all
Oh,
this.
yeah.
But you know, he's,
Anything with Sinestro is
well,
a
and that's
win in
another
my
character.
book.
It's
I
hard to
love
do Sinestro
Sinestro.
wrong as well. But like some of
Absolutely.
his
I love
best stuff,
Sinestro.
you got to say is right here. So
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I'll give you some of his best stuff. I won't give you
all right. I didn't say. Oh, I didn't say this is the
his
Sinestro.
best is yet to come. We
His
have
best
not
is yet to
gotten
come. All right, there's lots more Sinestro to come.
Good.
Right, Jeff Johns does that
Love
great,
Sinestro.
but you know we'll leave that for later.
Good. Yes, I love Sinestro as a villain.
Absolutely. Like
Not
I said,
just like
the other
fighting
like,
bombs.
like I said at the beginning of this whole 6-issue series was just a massive foundation for what's to come later with Jeff Johns' Green
Absolutely.
Lantern, and Sinestro is just one of those many pieces that they set up here.
Then, boy, do those pieces fall.
Boy, yes, boy, do they fall. That's for sure. All right, next, let's see. Yeah, that's all. What else is there? I mean, just that, and then just the whole moment of, just Parallax and Hal just breaking apart that all. Just everything in this issue was fantastic, and I could gush over it all day long.
The removal of the white hair, you know, it's a good day for everyone,
Right,
including
right.
Chris. Even Chris wins in this one.
Right,
Yes.
right.
But yeah, no, it's as much as I'm being sarcastic, it's a good one. I mean, Hal Jordan is back.
It's great symbolization of he's back. You know, that's showing that okay, the true Hal Jordan is back, and things are going to get serious here. He's back in full force.
And there's a lot of big moments to supplement building up to that.
For sure.
You know, which I think this series does really well is it's not just big moment. No. It's you're gonna see Kyle and Green and Oliver talk.
Yeah.
You know, you can't have these big character defining hair fixing moments without these little moments of in between, which I think a lot of series do well, and this one is one of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Anything
there were a
else,
lot
Sam?
of little stories inside the bigger story for sure.
Which is always you'll love to see it. Honestly, I love it when you really get that feeling of these aren't just superheroes; they're people, which obviously isn't. I mean, it's not like that's like a new thing, but it's just
Right.
it's
just
something
having-
it's something I can appreciate as a
having that
comic fan.
characterization done right. You know, that's what it's all about. And this story does such a great job of making sure that you get so much of that character of that characterization just good. You know, you have all these great moments between characters, and one of my favorites is honestly the last issue. But you know, we'll get to that in a bit. But is there anything else you all have to add on about the fourth part before we move on to 6? Or not 6, 5.
Really?
Fifth part.
Fifth part.
Just a all around good comic. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And the white hair's gone, so
you know, Chris can be happy now.
Chris can finally smile.
Rest.
He can
rest.
He can
easy.
Yes.
He can enjoy comic books.
He will enjoy
guys.
the next 2 issues white hair free. He'll be so happy. Or you were so happy about it being gone, right?
Unless there's a flashback.
Oh no.
Deluge guys. No.
Anyway, issue 5. This was quite an action-packed issue. So like this is actually my shortest summary just because there's so much action throughout this issue.
Yep.
Now, specifically at the beginning where it has such a huge beginning and it does not stop with Hal Jordan, you know, he's back in full force and starts having this huge showdown and, you know, fight against Sinestro. And that's what most of that issue is just this whole action sequence between them two. They do a little bit of like flashback between them.
Yep.
And then, but it ends with Sinestro escaping and they can't track where he went. You know, as always the main villain does. But that whole fight was epic and like just all the action there is just great and like that really just got me excited reading this whole thing of just, you know, just Green Lantern and Sinestro getting back at it because it's such a great feel of okay, not only were you excited that Hal Jordan's back, Hal Jordan's back fighting his main enemy, Sinestro, and it feels so good.
Oh, absolutely. I could not agree more in this.
Right, and
You know,
then
and anything that gets those two fighting again, I'm in for it. I'm here for it.
absolutely, it was a great one-on-one until Kyle came in and made sure Sinestro loses. But you know,
Oh, god damn it, Kyle!
damn it, Kyle!
Go talk to
Damn
Green
it,
Lantern
Kyle.
some more. God damn it.
God damn it, Kyle.
Anyway, then goes back. We then cut back to Earth, where we then see this evil Ganthet that's infused with Parallax now. He's then fighting the Green Lanterns and Justice League, a JSA that's there. And then we see then Hal Jordan and Kyle then regroup, and it then ends with Batman trying to stop Hal from helping them, and he says, "As long as I'm standing, you're not doing anything."
Yep. He's like, you're gonna tell me what's going on. He basically wants an explanation.
He's like, "You think you're just gonna be here and help us all of a sudden? No."
No. Well, you also you have to consider last time they saw the door of Hal.
Exactly.
You
Exactly. Last time they saw him, he was an evil rampaging.
He had
guy,
white hair,
you
you
know,
know,
he's
and that's
evil.
evil.
Right. Yeah.
How dare you use the podcast promo code?
How dare you? White hair.
Anyway.
Ugh. Curse you.
I mean, it's practically
Bruce
canon.
Wayne
you know?
better not
Batman
have
hates
white-
old people.
Bruce Wayne's got white hair. Is he?
In the future.
So,
No, he's got streaks.
Yeah. Well,
What? In this comic? What do you want?
I don't know. We don't see him without his cowl
That's
in this
true, we
comic,
don't- we don't
so
know
we don't
exactly
know
what's
which.
in
But
the-
in
Oh, so
some
you're saying
itera-
he's secretly.
in many iterations, he's got the white streaks.
oh
as
no,
Bruce Wayne.
Batman's
Okay.
evil, guys.
With
We can't be
Batman's
trusted.
parallax.
Batman's
Damn, that
Oh,
sucks.
dear. Can't love Batman anymore. He's evil.
Disclaimer:
Oh,
Batman
man.
is not really parallax.
He just happens to have white hair.
We're
He just,
joking.
yeah, just
waiting.
so happens.
For people who are thinking we are being serious in our analysis of the white hair,
We
we
are.
are not.
We 100% hate it. I'm gonna just. Don't mind me. I'm just gonna.
It started out
completely-
as I don't think it really works, and then it escalated into this huge joke, which I love.
Yeah,
now.
no, absolutely. No,
It's fantastic.
I have nothing against
I have
giving
nothing
characters
against
white hair.
fully against
I-
the white hair. I just didn't think it worked well as it could have.
He
there.
felt it was lazy. No,
It was
I
lazy.
I
That's
completely
all.
get it. I'm
That's
messing
all.
around.
That's all I felt. But this now has evolved into this huge joke, and it's just glorious now
Yeah.
because now whenever we are on a stream or something and we want to make a joke about white hair, we have this inside joke.
We have
about
it.
White hair.
It's done.
It's done. Next tabletop.
There we go.
Oh Jesus.
Anyway, but yeah, what you'll have much more to add into this issue in particular.
Nope.
Not
Sinestro's
really.
big fight. I mean, like I said, like that's such a great big fight, and then I also just want to
Yeah.
take a moment of just like the whole combination of it, Ganthet and Parallax to like infused together is quite terrifying and quite the enemy.
Yeah, that's a crazy. That looks like a boss fight. You know.
That's a crazy boss fight. Only if we
Is
had
it
a good
absolutely?
Green Lantern game to go along with it.
We will. One
Never.
day.
We won't.
We
Never.
will.
But anyway,
I'll make it.
you'll
No.
make bet. All right. Anyway,
I mean, I do have a concept.
Did you just say
Just don't
bet?
Bet. You've never heard bet?
Yes,
It's one of those Zoomer things. I'm
I
sorry.
I know
Let me
exactly what it
translate.
is.
Basically, it means okay.
No shit.
You're welcome. This has been Blue explains Zoomer things, despite also not understanding.
Yes, exactly. We're,
I
First of
don't
all,
know. What's
Spencer
going on?
Never says bet. Never
I
heard
really, I
also
do.
like
I
to
do sometimes
say-
not much.
I've never heard you say bet. That's just
Never. ever.
This is new for me too.
That's what I'm
I just-
saying. Like, I've never
What
heard
are
you
you
say bet.
what are you doing there, buddy?
What have you done with Spencer?
You know what? I'm
We-
not Spencer
we talked.
anymore. Yeah, I don't know. I'm secretly.
Do you have
parallax.
white hair now all of a sudden?
I
Oh,
suddenly have
God.
white hair all of a sudden, and I'm now parallax.
He switches his PFP so the Joker has the white streak. He starts talking about
I have
podcast
white hair
promo
here. I
codes.
promise I do.
I'll take your word. I can believe that. Spencer's the kind of guy to turn evil.
All right. Now, are we
Anyway.
I think we need to move on to 6.
Issue 6.
5?
We did see 6. 6. 5 was what we just
6.
covered.
We just
Yeah,
talked about
yeah.
5.
6.
Yeah, I'm paying attention to the numbers. Yeah, 6.
6.
Issue 6. I was testing you guys. Continue.
Absolutely, you were.
Where Hal
Anyway,
punches
so-
Bruce.
Immediately, right off the bat, after that cliffhanger of Batman trying to stop Hal from helping, Hal just burns through the grappling like gadget that Batman had around his wrist. He just burns through it immediately. And then after that, he just punches him right in the face. He's like, "No,
Right.
The absolute
I'm gonna help
Right
you."
in the
I'm gonna-
kiss.
bat.
Right? What an epic moment that was. But yeah, they're like,
and
"No, this is a Green Lantern threat. You all stay here while the Green Lantern save the day."
Dun,
Yes.
da-da.
There we go.
No
Anyway,
gray
so
hair needed.
off to go fight the gray hair.
I'll have to go fight the gray hairs. Uh-oh. Don't let them into the retirement home.
Anyway, all the lanterns here, they have this huge epic fight against the Ganthet infused Parallax, which eventually gets defeated after a whole epic fight. But I
Does
haven't
he
noticed
have gray hair? He has lots of gray hair.
I know.
He had gray hair to begin with,
I know.
though, so I don't think we can.
It doesn't
Is that-
count.
I think we should just start basing if characters are evil based off of whether or not they have black hair or gray hair. Can we agree that that's Chris? I would like to say, now that I've said that, you've not to
That's why he
say
doesn't
anything
like
about-
it. He wasn't one to expose
What's
himself.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
He's
What?
an evil
With all my
mastermind
gray
all
hair?
along.
Yeah, I'm not saying
I'm not a
you're
comic
evil.
book. I'm not a comic book character though. I am a
Neither is Hal
mutant
Jordan.
though.
Are you?
Technically.
Magneto has gray hair.
And
Da-na-na-na-na.
Magneto is evil.
Da-na-na-na.
Magneto is parallax. Yeah.
Yes, there we go. Anyway,
That's-
that's how the crossover begins.
Oh God.
Anyway.
Is that where the? Well, I think I'm reading the wrong comic here, man. Wait a second.
Yeah,
Wait,
you don't
what
see Magneto
crossover?
here?
Oh yeah, I see the gray hair.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm
I see
getting-
gray hair. It's got to be Magneto, right?
Obviously gray hair either means Magneto or
Parallax.
evil or parallax. Yeah. I think we can all agree on that. I think that's a rational statement to make.
And
There we go.
What if?
So,
what
Chris,
if it-
which one are you, Magneto or?
I am Parallax.
Oh,
I
God.
don't think that's what.
He's going to turn into a
parallax
huge
sounds like.
fart cloud now. Anyway.
Oh no! Is that not what he already is? Is that not what he's going for visually?
Alright, anyway. Just curious. I know, right? Making us gag over here. Anyway.
Laughing so hard we can't talk.
Anyway.
Sorry, I'm like mildly eating. Not mildly, I am eating. I just started choking to death as I was laughing. My bad. This
Anyway,
is like
the
this-
fart infused Ganthet then gets defeated
The
after
fart-
this big epic. Yes, I did use that.
I don't like that.
Sorry,
I
the
enjoy
actually
that.
good looking Parallax
Thank
that
you.
was infused with and Ganthet gets defeated. The central battery on Oa all of a sudden then reawakens. Batman accepts that he won't get his way this time with, accepting
This time.
everything because he doesn't completely believe that Hal's good now. He doesn't
Some of-
understand the white hair yet.
Some of the ancient
doesn't
beings
understand
don't even have
podcasts.
hair. What the hell? Some of the ancient guardians don't even have hair. What the hell?
Well, the ancient guardians aren't the avatar of willpower.
True.
That's Ion. which I don't think we've gotten to that part of the
No.
lore yet, so never mind.
No.
My bad.
Dabba-dee dabba no.
All right. And
It's
so-
gray, dabba dee dabba gray.
And so,
Don't. Oh my god, that song.
anyway,
Don't
yeah, we'll just carry
start
on
with the
to
song.
where. How then
Carry on my
reestablishes-
wayward soul.
Oh God, sakes!
I don't think that's not the lyrics. I may be but a simple youngster,
No.
but I don't think that's the lyrics.
Really.
I've heard that song at least once.
All right.
At
Anyway,
least
At least one time.
At least
don't
one
know.
time. Okay.
After we're
Okay.
done, I'll sing you the real song.
Oh God.
I think I'm good. After your performance of Girls Just Want to Have Fun, I think I'm good, man.
Look,
The
that
timing
was your
and you were
choice.
yeah, that was my fault.
okay. Let's just
It's your fault.
get a bit back on track here. Okay, we're that's a little
what
too
we're
much music for a comic podcast. All right, or comic show. All right, whatever you will call it here. All right.
Oh god, he's about to sing.
Oh God. All right. Anyway, before he starts doing that, we then see how he's reestablishing
You,
his. Hal Jordan goes back and he starts reestablishing his relationship with Carol, where she then
He
reveals
serenades her. I mean,
and where it's then revealed that she's reopening the Ferris Airfield.
with her
Nice.
fiance or husband or
something
whoever
like
that.
she's.
We then
John.
briefly get to see Hector Hammond again, to where he's sensing Hal Jordan is back, and he's like, "Oh, this is gonna be fun."
Hector Hammond's just kind of a creep. Like, I don't think he's actually I don't know when he's relevant past this, but I know the next time we see one of the next times we see him is he's in the cell saying weird shit. Like he's basically just commentating at this
He's
point.
just there. Yeah, no, he's literally.
That's what he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just the.
You're just
narrator.
there. The 2 times we saw him, he was just there.
Yeah, just you know.
If
Maybe
there's,
let's
if
not
there's any
go-
complaint I have about this comic, because it's why the fuck is Hector here?
Yeah, like what
Yeah.
purpose do you serve? Like
Hector
we're
literally
reading
serves
the
no
comic.
purpose here.
We're
No.
reading the comic, Hector. We know what's going on.
Hector's just like,
Really-
hey, I'm here. I mean, that's the reason why I didn't include him in the synopsis the first time, because I thought he was just pointless there, you know? But I was just like, well, at least I should mention that Hector's here, you know?
Yeah, again, they're building up. We can
I'm sure
You
they're
know-
building on something. I'm not completely sure, but, you know, we'll see.
we gotta cut them some slack. We've already made fun of them enough for the hair, you know. Let's leave Jeff alone. You know, I'm sure he's gonna see this and cry himself to
Oh,
sleep.
yep.
We've ruined Jeff John's career,
He's got-
guys. You know,
he rang the bell.
and
He rang the notification bell. He knows when
Chris
this-
single-handedly ruined Jeff Johns' career by criticizing the hair. You know, we're never gonna hear from Jeff again. I also,
Or at all.
feel
I
weird
mean, for
calling
the
him,
first time.
I do feel weird calling him Jeff. That's just
Just
a weird.
Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns.
Yeah, no, that's not who I'm talking about. It's just
I
like,
know.
I've never referred to, you know, you don't refer to
Oh.
H.P. Lovecraft as Power. Just weird.
Okay, we'll just carry on.
Anyway.
And then the issue ends with Green Arrow and Hal Jordan having this nice bonding moment as Hal's retrieving his power battery, which for some reason was auto translated as Bartley for some reason. Okay.
Eh?
Anyway,
What?
What you-
I don't know how
Oh,
battery
battery.
turns into Bartley. All right.
Let
but
me
anyway.
see. Your power battery. Oh, what? Where do you
Power
see that?
Bartley.
What page are you on? Yeah, no.
No, my
no,
show
no,
notes. I was
no,
entering
his
in battery
notes,
and then
his
somehow
notes.
autocorrected into
Oh,
Bartley.
I thought you meant like in the comic. It
No,
said
that
Bartley,
would've
and I'm
been-
like,
that would've
whoa,
been
did I
bad.
miss that?
That would have been
I would have
kind
been
of cool,
talking
though.
about that all episode instead of
I'm
fucking
a Bartley now. I don't know what a
Gray
Bartley is,
hair.
but
Bro, I want to power Bartley. I don't know who that guy is. But he sounds dope. Power Bartley.
Does he have gray hair?
Absolutely. You bet
Hell
your sweet
yeah.
ass he does. I love
No,
Power Bartley.
gray streaks are full.
that's not
Hold on.
streaks. No,
It's
it has to be
all gray
streaks.
streaks.
Has to be
It's no-
streaks.
Streaks. Several
That's
streaks.
how you know he's parallax.
Of course. The parallax early warning system. It's just
The parallax early warning system. Make sure you buy your parallax warning radios.
Implant this in your hair. If it turns gray, parallax has taken over your body. Like, yeah, that makes sense. 90% off at fucking checkout if you use code parallax, man.
Pee on this stick. If it turns gray, parallax is in you.
Oh,
my
no.
god. Oh dear.
Is parallax an STD? Was I unaware of something? Did I miss something here?
I mean, did you
Uh-oh.
look at him? He's kind of, you know.
I've seen
Intrusive.
butterfly. He kind of does look like a crab. I will say that.
Yeah.
I do like the there's fart cloud parallax and crab parallax. I do. I actually, as a kid, at the very least, I liked the movie Parallax. I'm
You
not gonna
still
lie
are
to you.
a kid. What are you talking about?
I'm an adult legally. I mean, like I saw the movie opening night for one. Green Lantern. Oh, Google just kicked me out. 1 second. So 2011. That's at least 1 year
12
ago.
years ago.
At least 1 year ago.
Yeah,
12 years
So
ago.
2023 minus 2011.
12 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah. So I was that's the wrong equation. 1 second. I know what I'm doing.
No,
So
it
I
doesn't.
was 6 when I saw that movie. So I think cut me some slack when I say as a kid.
So you're still a kid.
I'm a legal adult.
12 years ago you were 6? You are still a kid.
I'm 18. I'm a legal adult. I can
You're
legally
still a kid.
buy a firearm,
It's okay, kid.
among other things.
Don't worry, when you start getting gray hair, you'll feel old and evil.
As opposed to just feeling evil? Like what?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Eventually I get to be the cool,
The cool evil
embodiment
uncle.
of.
The cool evil uncle.
I'm
That's what
already
you
the
become.
evil uncle, unfortunately, but
Oh, so you're not the cool evil uncle, though?
He just hasn't earned that cool
No.
part. He may be a bit
No.
far away from that, but
yeah.
But anyway, all right, let's get things back on track here to wrap this up here. After all these side
Podcast.
roads here.
Promo
Anyway,
code. Nonsense. This is what you get for
what
inviting
would you all
me, man.
think of this last issue that I summarized
Uh,
so long ago?
Immaculate. Hey, come on, man.
It was
It was an
missing
immaculate.
something.
Is
I don't
missing
know. Maybe
something?
some color.
Or
Yeah,
some
like
lack
some
of
extra
color,
white
you know?
or gray. You're saying is that what you're saying?
Yeah, with some black.
You know what? I think
over
that
the
I think Hal Jordan should go back
No,
to the
but-
gray hair now.
It's look up until the point where, like, after they all talked to Batman and everything, it could have ended there for me.
What's all setting up other?
I mean, I do like okay. Then also the whole thing between Hal and Art and Oliver, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't need the airfield part. I
Yeah.
understand why they did it, but I didn't need it.
I don't know if this is a hot take or not. I'm actually not a huge Carol fan, like whatsoever.
Not either. No.
I don't like Carol as a character, and I don't know if that it's not like a sexism thing. She's boring.
Sexist.
It's not
you.
because she's a woman. It's just because she's just not that interesting for me.
She's
you know?
not, and that's the point.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I was like, this whole part right here.
Well,
with like,
I mean,
I decided not to sell.
I mean,
I don't care.
I
You can
liked
sell
it
the air.
because of the
Yeah.
the point of the conversation I liked, but maybe
I mean,
it wasn't that big.
It's the
Yeah, it wasn't
airfield.
that
Is,
major of a conversation. Like,
the airfield is important to the overall lore of Green Lantern.
Right.
So
And
you
that's
know
what
they
this
have
series
to
is all about.
grandfather it into this new era.
Right.
You know, they as much as we don't like it, we
Yeah,
have to
but-
accept
I mean, here's
it,
the thing, though, it's
gray
like
but they're
hair.
not
single page,
using
though.
it for the lore, though. They're not using it for the lore. They're not.
They're using it so that they can set up Hal and Carol again.
I don't think they are.
But you haven't read what comes next.
Oh, okay. So in other words,
So,
they get back
sit down.
together. So there's
Eventually,
adultery. There's adultery, is what you're saying.
Not what I said
It sounds like it.
explicitly. You haven't read what comes next. I will say
there's
that.
Oh, does her lover or fiance or husband die? Is that what happens?
Yeah, Parallax
Okay.
shows back up.
Oh, okay. Does he ever give him gray hair?
Yep, and they get divorced. I don't know.
So they get divorced.
I'm just making shit up. I don't know why you're listening.
I know you are. That's my point.
Don't listen to me. I read this comic an hour ago. What do you want about?
That's what I'm saying. We don't need this panel. The next one we obviously do. It's the next page we do. But anyway, yes, the end.
Yes, the end.
Yeah.
Epic fight against the main bad, seeing all the Green Lanterns together. I mean, it's always glorious having all the Green Lanterns together, you know. Kilowog, Jon Stewart, Hal Jordan, Kyle, and Guy. What a team up there. What a team up.
Of the Earth Green Lantern.
And Kilowog.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Kilowog. Kilowog, he can just show up wherever. I love him.
Yeah, put Kilowog in anything and I'll love it, you know?
I'll read a Batman comic if it means I get to see Kilowog, which actually sounds like a roast against Batman comics. I just don't read that many comics. I have nothing against Batman. I'm sorry.
No, I'm that way.
What do you mean disappointment? You're not my dad.
Anyway.
You're not my dad. Wow.
I really hope he
got some
doesn't
gray
watch
hair
this.
issues, huh?
Speaking of which, my dad has been growing some gray hairs lately. Should I be worried about that?
Maybe.
Look, if you use the code,
if I use the code and make sure he pisses on the stick, it should be fine.
If you're evil, does that mean you dislike good stories?
Oh yeah, like
All-Star Superman.
I feel like I'm missing something there.
Your dad did not like All-Star Superman that much.
Well, my dad also likes Ben Affleck Batman. So, know, do we really care about his opinion?
Well, we did when we were on the show together.
Yeah. We all talked
about
how good All-Star Superman was, and he was like, no, it's not good. First issue of Comic Club,
first episode.
You think I watch anything with my dad in? I don't even watch his podcast, man.
Okay, that's a lie.
I know that's a lie because we were told earlier that on Thursday nights you spend your nights in the chat of a Star Wars podcast.
Oh no, you expected me to be like I don't remember what I do most days. I don't know. I'm not even
remember
sure
what you say hours ago?
I just say things, man. I don't know what you're expecting of me.
Anyway, anything else regarding this that you all want to cover before we end? I mean, I felt like overall this is just a great
it's a classic.
I mean, it's a great way to just brought back Hal as Green Lantern and reestablishing him as the main Green Lantern and being fully the good Hal and not the evil white hair Hal gray hair that Chris hates.
And you know what? We hear there's no hope that one day he'll be able to accept Hal for his hairstyle or Parallax for his hair choice.
As Hal says on the very last page, I'll never forget it.
And that's where we're gonna end this episode of the Comic Club. Unless right? You all don't have anything else.
I had more to say.
But okay, more to say.
Fellas on Twitch.
More to say, Billy. What do you want to say?
Damn it.
So obviously this is not what we're saying, but I think this is one of the most. This was a big read for me, or is a big read for me, because it really helps establish the foundation of some of my favorite Green Lantern stories of all time. I love Green Lantern with a burning passion. He's one of my favorite characters.
Definitely. And just
seeing this is, it really puts some things into perspective, because the last time I read it was when I was like this tall, and you can't see me. But
we can't see you because you don't have a camera. So next time, bring a camera so you can see when you say this tall.
A camera. No, when I was a kid, I read.
You're still a kid.
That's what I was trying to avoid saying. Anyway, what I'm getting at is I haven't read this comic since I was younger.
You're younger than what?
Younger than I am now. I can't say shit. Rereading this, it really you know, I got to see it in a new light, and it really put a lot of what comes to in the future of
Absolutely.
Green Lantern, which is technically the past for us, but it's just
the
a
future
good
and the story from here.
what
And
comes
the gray
next.
hair.
It really expands.
Chris can be
on
happy
the-
that it's gone now.
Yeah, of course.
God forbid us cover any Green Lantern stuff that comes before this, because then Chris is gonna have to deal with gray hair. He's gonna hate all of it because of the gray hair.
And of course, we didn't include the secret 7th issue where it's all gray hair.
It's all gray hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
the old-
only
it's Green Lantern retirement home.
Yeah, I'd actually read that. That actually sounds delightful.
Wouldn't it be
hilarious? I'd read it. I don't know.
Be hilarious. And there'd be the one paranoid one that thinks everybody is parallax because of the gray hair.
Oh, Guy, obviously. I'm saying it now. That's Guy. Guy Gardner over here with his walker. Hal, your gray hair. You've got parallax again. It's like, Guy, you fucking idiot. We all have gray hair. I don't know why Hal is so. You know what? Let's just.
All right, everybody. Thank you for coming by and discussing Green Lantern. What's it called? Rebirth?
Yes.
I got freaking distracted with all your white hair, I swear to God.
He's got
Anyway.
the brain rot, man.
I know, right? Anyway, this is a
Hang out
great,
with
well, overall, you know, there's a little bit of off-road trekking. Just a little bit. But anyway.
What do you mean?
Anyway, good discussions all around covering Green Lantern Rebirth.
Speaking of green.
Green Lantern is one of my favorite aspects of the DC universe. My second favorite, I'd say, actually, right behind Gotham, because, you know, Batman and everything.
Yeah.
But, so,
But
I definitely want to
what's
do
your
more
favorite green thing?
Green Lantern.
Damn it.
But so anyway, I'm hoping to cover lots more of Green Lantern content to come. You know, maybe here, maybe elsewhere. We'll see. But anyway, also other green things, such as what's this other green thing that you think is
I don't
for some
know.
reason could be my
The
favorite
green
thing
fellas,
that's not
right?
Green
That
Lantern.
you're a member of.
Oh right. Well, okay. Let's be honest here, right? Hal Jordan's cooler than me, so. But
Yeah.
second
no,
coolest
there's
green
no
thing.
argument.
Go check
There's no
out the Green
argument.
Fellas on Twitch. Link is down below in the description.
Do I have to?
You're already following.
You're already there.
Yeah.
Is there?
Plus, I've been on it, so really, I don't know what that was about. It's too late for me.
All right. Anyway, Blue, is there anything? I don't know. You want to pimp
You
out?
want to plug your dad's podcast?
Yeah, go listen to Rebel Rock Radio, but also, I just randomly, I'm currently working with some very good friends on a project called Team Skull. You can find them on Twitter on Team Skull 1264, or you can just figure it out. You know, just go to my
Just figure it out.
Yeah, just get.
Link
But,
might be
yeah.
below.
Perhaps I'll send you the links. Though.
Wink,
There,
wink,
But,
wink,
link will be
wink.
below.
But yeah, that's all I have to advertise.
All right. Well, thank you for joining in this episode of the Comic Club. Lots of fun and some good discussion. Anyway,
And some
see you
fun
all next
discussion.
time in the Dingus Den. Thank you for watching this video. Before you go, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video. See you next time here on the Dingus Den.